there YouTube, Big G back again with another video and another collection. Now these figurines over here were brought out in 1980 by Toycloud, and these are the figurines, or most of them are the figurines that I owned growing up, and was probably the very first thing that I ever collected, whether it be toys or games or anything like that, because coming out in 1980 would have meant that I was 10 years old when these came out. And I was absolutely fascinated with Asterix and Obelix. I'm sure we all were. And I used to go to the library and I used to go and sit and look through all the magazines, all the Asterix and Obelix books. And they were funny. I enjoyed them. The stories were good. There was always a happy ending. And, you know, the Romans were the bad guys, but at the same time, they weren't just the bad guys. They were also very funny. You know, and old Obelix was always bashing them. Asterix always had to drink the magic potion, and all of them had the weird names, Getafix and Fullamix and so forth, and Dogmatix being the little dog. And I absolutely just loved Asterix and Obelix, whether it was games, because there were some TV games that actually played Asterix and Obelix, or it was the books, or these figurines over here. And I just wish that I had actually kept all the boxes, because these two boxes here at the back are not actually my boxes. Although I had bought them originally, you know, being a kid, 10 years old, the first thing you did, you threw away the boxes. I remember this farm set, growing up on a farm myself. I loved the farm set. The different characters. And what I used to do back then, I can still remember it to this day, was that we had this lovely big table in the lounge, and I used to take the Roman soldiers, and that's why most of the shields, the little clips at the back of the shields, are broken. You know, those little clips there at the back, so I can't put their shields in their arms. And I used to put them into a sort of a battle array on the table, and they would have to protect the fort, and then at the same time the Gauls would attack them, and vice versa. We used to build different bases, and unfortunately a lot of the swords and a lot of the bits and pieces actually broke, or I lost them, which is a big pity. I wish I'd actually kept them in pristine condition, but that's not always what happens, especially when you're 10 years old. But otherwise, you know, I've kept them, and you know, 30 years later, no, 40 years later, what am I, maths is terrible. I'm 50 now, so 40 years later I'm still proud to have them in my collection, to have my original toys from back when I was 10 years old, bought with my pocket money, and back then, I mean, they were expensive, and you'd have to get them for birthdays and so forth. I just wish I could get more of them, but they are so expensive now. To buy them on eBay or something like that, they are absolutely ridiculous prices. But you can actually build up whole forts, villages, even for the pirates. You can actually get the pirate ships, and you know, all the characters from the comics are all there. I mean, just look at the detail. I mean, for such old figurines, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. All the little swords and everything, and they're posable, their arms move, their hands move. So I mean, the scenes and things that you can actually do with these figurines was absolutely great. So I've thoroughly enjoyed these over the years, and that's why it takes pride of place here on, you know, in my games room, with the rest of my figurines that I've collected. But these have always had a special place for me. So I wonder, guys, anything else that you guys have collected out there over the years? What figurines, what toys have you kept since you were a child? And I certainly hope you did. Maybe you kept them in better condition than I did, but these were very well played. And one of the things I did was, once I had sort of left the house and I was in my 20s, I allowed my nephews and so forth to play with them. Good or bad idea, I'm not sure, because they also broke a lot of bits and pieces. But guess what? To this day, they still remember playing these figurines. I mean, when I go visit them, they'll still remember saying, "Hey, do you still have those figurines?" They still remember playing them when they were kids. So they were absolutely well used by myself, as well as my nephews and nieces and brothers and so forth. So great bit of history with these figurines, and I've absolutely loved them. Let me know down in the comments if you have collected any toys, whether they're Transformers or anything like that, or Hot Wheels, etc. But you know, collecting is one part, but when something has a connection to your youth, it's nostalgia, which is fantastic. Okay guys, cheers from me, and remember, keep it retro.